flipping of language, this really bizarre calling good evil, evil good, it's satanic.
Ruslan.
Before we get into that, guys, my name is Ruslan. This channel exists to encourage, empower, and inspire you to live a life that blesses God. If you're new here or if you're not new here, please take a look and make sure you hit that subscribe button, as a huge percentage of the people that watch this channel, unfortunately, are not subscribed. All right, let's get into the video. J.K. Rowling has been in hot water for years now because of her alleged transformer phobia, okay? And they've been dragging her through the mud, including the people that starred in her movie. The very same actors that played the characters she wrote have called her phobic as well. Well, she decided to unload a clip on these very same people because they said she was regressive. They said she was a bigot. They said I don't know if they said she was a bigot, but they said all kinds of crazy things about her. And she has publicly called them out, since a recent medical review seems to be leading to the reality that this affirming care for transformer children is actually not affirming at all. It's actually potentially dangerous and can come with irreversible side effects. J.K. Rowling slams Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson over their transformer rights support. They can have their apologies.
Save their apologies.
They can save their apologies. J.K. Rowling says she will not forgive her Harry Potter actors who have spoken out against her controversy. And if you guys don't know who the actors are, I mean, these are pretty big names, right? Hogwarts will not be welcoming Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson home any time soon, after J.K. Rowling shared a recent review of the medical evidence for transitioning children that found that the NHS did not know the long-term effects of gender-affirming care for minors. Fans were curious if the report can change the author's relationship with the former Harry Potter child. So now, just to be clear, right now, they're saying they don't know. We don't know the long-term consequences. They know. There's studies coming out. They know. They know that a lot of this stuff that they're doing is irreversible. They know that a lot of these kids, especially the ones that do the full-on bottom surgeries, will likely never have an orgasm. They'll obviously never have kids, right? So they know what's going on. Now, what they're saying they don't know is when we're talking about the medications that they're giving these kids to quote-unquote pause puberty so they could figure out which gender they are, right? They know where this is going, and they're going to be ambiguous about this, just like they were ambiguous about natural immunity with the Rona, just like they flip-flopped on whether masks were effective or not. They know.
Yep.
They know. The question is this going to change her relationship? Are these fans, are these actors going to come out and apologize and say, yeah, she was right? Because we kind of are experimenting on these children, many of which have detransitioned. In the thousands, at least, have detransitioned, right? So the British author was blunt in question whether she could forgive Watson, 33, and Radcliffe, 34, if they apologized for previous criticism of her comments opposing hormone blockers for kids. Just waiting for Dan and Emma to give a very public apology, safe in the knowledge that you will forgive them. One social media user wrote to Rowling, okay? And her response is pretty not safe, I'm afraid. Rowling, 58, responded on Wednesday. Rowling went on to blast the celebrities who spoke out against her when she wrote an essay that was deemed phobic in 2020. Celebs who cozied up to a movement intent on eroding women's hard-won rights and who used their platform to cheer on the transitioning of minors can save their apologies for traumatized detransitioners and vulnerable women reliant on single-sex spaces. And these are the actors that threw shots, and I said all kinds of wild stuff about her. Radcliffe, who played the titular character in the franchise 8 films, affirmed his support for transformer rights and his disapproval of Rowling's stances that same year. It's clear that we need to do more to support transformer and non-binary people, not invalidate their identities, he said in a letter. Okay. Watson, who has been a staunch advocate for LGTB and women's rights since she stopped portraying Hermione Granger, also chimed in, transformer people are who they are and deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned or told they aren't who they say they are. Interesting. Okay. Fellow members of the Harry Potter franchise like Rupert Grant and Fantastic Beasts star Eddie Redmayne shared their support for the Transformer community after Rowling's controversial essay. Rowling has been open about her views on the Transformer community and said she'd happily do jail time for her beliefs.
I like how all these actors are just taking the easiest stance ever.
Oh, yeah,
It's
of
just
course.
listing off like, okay, if you're part of the cast, you have to release a letter on Twitter.
Yes.
And they're all saying the same thing.
They're all
It's
saying
just-
the same thing. Yeah. And so they're saying she could do jail time because there's a new hate crime law, bans hatred on basis of race, all the things, sexual transformer. Began earlier this month, Rowling has taunted Scottish police to try to arrest her for misgendering people. So this Transformer news anchor has tried to call for her to be arrested for misgendering. Freedom of speech and belief are at an end in Scotland, and in the accurate description of biological sex is deemed criminal.
The billionaire wrote on X.
Oh my gosh.
Yo. Describing her as a billionaire,
That's kind of gangster.
that's kind of gangster because everyone's like, oh, the famous author, whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm a billionaire.
Her money long. So she can fight this. She could probably take it up to whatever their Supreme Court is in
Oh, yeah.
Scotland,
Oh, yeah.
right? And really go at it. And it reminds me, and someone in the chat pointed this out, reminds me of the verse, obviously, in Isaiah 5:20, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. This flipping of language, this really bizarre calling good evil, evil good, it's satanic. Like it is what it is, right? And that's not a stamp of J.K. Rowling or her being a Christian or anything like that. It's just sometimes people can see the obvious despite the rest of us being afraid to call out the obvious. So I'm all for her time, and apparently she got the funds to fight this. We see according to the Bible that prayer is extremely important in terms of us being transformed from the inside out when we get aligned with God's will. For the Christians watching this channel, I want you guys to implement these spiritual disciplines in your day-to-day life. And the only way I've been able to do this consistently is through writing down my prayers in a prayer journal that does a few things. One, it allows me to reflect and come to God humbly and ask Him to move on my behalf. And two, it allows me to document my prayers, which ultimately help me remember the very things that I was praying for and see the hand of God tangibly in my life when He answers them. So I would urge you, consider writing down your prayers. It could be in a blank notebook. It could even be on your phone. Or you could check out the one I personally designed and used from my own quiet time and spiritual discipline that I think will be a huge blessing. It's the exact structure and system that I've used for years to pray and be more consistent in my spiritual disciplines. You can pick yours up today by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.